So hello everybody, welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you right now about my days lately. So this is something that it's also a hyperinflation um, side effect or an effect. You see, inflation and hyperinflation affects all kinds of levels in the human relationships. It also affects money. And money is being, managed in banks. Banks require a hell of a lot of communication to make the system work. As in people communication, paperwork communication, and electronic kind of communication. And the electronic part is, outside of the scope of the banks. Meaning that, if they cannot have access to internet, then that communication cannot work. And internet is something that the government and other institutions or other people can get a hold of, and then you are in hell. Because, it's like you trying to go into a highway, and the highway is supposed to be only for you. Let's say that, this road is a private road, and it is supposed to be for you, because it's a private thing. But all of a sudden, you have a jam. And it's not because of cars that are yours, but because there are cars from a hell of a lot of people. And when that happens, whatever time your highway is filled with, whatever, then that's whatever time that you're not going to get access to the freaking bank. Now, the cars that are in the road of, your private thing can be there because they are terrorists, or because they are just messing with you because of, revenge or something. They might be there because they are thieves, or they might be there because of an accident. Hell, for all I know, they might be there because they're running from something that is in the other highways. So, point being that, this week was insane for around 15 million people. Now, if you consider that in my country we are currently around 29 million people, this is more than half of the people. Now, if you also consider that, half of the people do not have, bank accounts because of whatever reason, let's say that, you are 5-year-old, you don't have a bank account, but you still count as a person. So out of the 29 million people that we are, let's say that, 1/3 is just not doable for having bank accounts, or do not handle bank accounts or whatever. So that leaves you, 19 million people. So out of 19 million people that are adults and have access to bank accounts, 15 million, so now we are talking 75% of people, adults, like people that actually require banks. So 75% of those people had their bank account shut down for 6 days. 6 days in which you had internet, and if you had money, in this particular bank, you could not get it. If you had money in other bank accounts, you might be able to get it, but not this one. And this one is where you got the money from the government, and this one has most of the pension accounts. So if you were elderly, oh hell. And there are several reasons why this happened. One of them is because they were doing supposedly a hell of a lot of illegal activities in this bank. And if you had money in this account, lately as in the last, I don't know, let's say 5 to 10 years, nobody has written proofs of their their records and then their transactions, because everybody handles everything online. And right now, because you don't have proofs, as in what was your balance or how is your balance or whatever, basically these people that had this money in the bank, now let's say that you had 25 million in the bank, and you wake up, in the 6 days that you had no money, no access, no nothing. You go to the bank, and instead of having 25 million, you have 2 million or 4 million. And the reason for that is because, according to the bank, you withdraw the money or you spend it in, paying phone bills and doing other things. By the way, they actually may have proof that a lot of people withdrew money because the first day that the system was down, people still went to the bank and withdraw all the money in cash. And there was no record of anyone, taking the money out. Meaning, somebody went to the bank gave you the money, but in the balance in the computer, it didn't say that you withdrew the money. So what they did was they withdrew money from all the accounts, for that, to account the fact that some people did this. And you're like, but I never withdrew the money. Yeah, now you are the one who has to prove that you didn't withdraw the money. And oh crap, it's just one of those things that you're like, but it's my money, you are the one who is supposed to keep a record or whatever. So oh crap. And by the way, a hell of a lot of other things happened, that are really, really, really bad. And okay, so before I continue, if you wanted to buy me a coffee, you can do that in the link down below. If you wanted to help me out, you can do that by sending an Amazon gift card. The email is down below. And if you wanted to know more about the details in hard times, I have been writing series about 101 tips for dealing with, the hard time situation. And they are in the form of books, and they are in the webpage called Gumroad. And the link is also down below. So anyway, point being that, if you don't have access to your money and you only have money into one account, this is bad. There was a guy that is my age, and he was crying all over because both him and his father had money into this bank, and they had enough money to buy medicines for his father, who requires, antibiotics and medicines because he was going through a treatment or something. And they couldn't buy the freaking medicine, so the guy died in a very painful, slow kind of way because of this problem in the bank. The worst part is that They were having they were able to get the money through several things like family members putting all the money together and everything, and everybody was running and everybody was doing this, and then he had the money, so he was running trying to get the freaking medicine, and the problem started, and now he has no access to this money or whatever, and now his father is dead. Not only that, but like I said, he had to watch the whole thing happen slowly and painfully and everything, and there was nothing that he could do because the money was basically hijacked by the system of the freaking bank. And I can tell you right now that this is not going to be the main problem that you're going to have with banks during inflation and hyperinflation. You see, 99% of the people right now that you probably know, it's not on the world because it's not worldwide, it's just 99% of the people that you probably know have access to the internet. Hell, for all I know, it might be 100% of the people. But here's the deal. You are paying currently for a service of the internet. The internet that you're getting is not free. Okay? It's not that you go to your house and then you get Wi-Fi and you don't have to pay for the freaking phone bill that contains the freaking connection to the internet, whatever. You are paying for that service. That service, it requires a hell of a lot of maintenance. It requires a hell of a lot of servers. It requires a hell of a lot of people to maintain that. And that means that it's expensive. However, you get it, relatively cheap at this point in good times. During hard times, if you don't have, let's say that you're moving into a new house, you're not getting a new contract for the internet. I'm sorry, but you're not. The probability of you getting a contract for the internet, or a contract for electricity, or a contract for the water service when you're moving into a new house, not happening. Like, you getting that is 1 in 10 chances. I'm sorry, it's just not. The reason for this is because, making the contracts will require paperwork, as in paper and printing, and most offices do not have printers anymore. You will require, a hell of a lot of things that is just non-existent. You will require cables to get into your location or whatever, and if the structure is already there, you may get it, and that's like 1 in 10. But other than that, then you are not getting it. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you, that a side effect of inflation and hyperinflation will be that if you are moving into a house, you better move into a neighborhood that has all the cables already set in, like a city. But if you want to go to a countryside or a house that is in the suburbs or whatever, you are not getting those cables, and you're not getting those new contracts. And not only that, but let's say that you are okay because you're not moving into a new house, so you do not need a new contract. You already have your own contract. So let's say that you are paying for the internet $10 a month. If you're currently paying $10 a month, how about you pay $20 next month? How about $50 3 months after that? So let's say that in January you were paying $10, and in February you were paying $20. By May, you are paying $50. So February you pay $20, March you pay $20, so that's, $10 more every month. And then on the third month, you have to pay $50. And let's say that 3 months after that, you have to pay $100. So you just went from 10 to $100 in a period of 6 to 7 months. That is literally almost 1000% more money. That is how bad, that thing can be. And at this point, the government might step foot into this thing because, if you cut up the internet for a hell of a lot of people, there will be a hell of a lot of people that will go outside and will riot, and they will probably kill the freaking politicians. Because, people will associate the politicians with the freaking internet. Hell no. The politicians have nothing to do with the freaking internet. The politicians are there controlling the freaking government and other things. And you may think government controls the internet. Oh, hell no. The government controls certain things, like certain regulations or whatever, and they can try to do this. But reality is that the communication companies are the ones that have the cables, the internet, and everything. There is a reason why you pay the internet through a phone bill and you do not pay it through your tax thing. If the government is the one that is providing the internet, then why do you pay the phone bill that has the internet? So, the money basically is on the communication companies, is not in the government. However, the government then will try to, it will be a huge thing because you have now 3 parties that are fighting this thing. The user, as in the people, you, whatever. And by the way, the user will be divided into 2 groups. The companies that will be kind of like $100 bill, crap, I can pay $2,000. Then there is you, that, you are not eating because you don't have money for food. And now you're expecting to pay a $200 bill for the internet? What the hell? So it's going to be a big thing. And same with the cell phone usage. Let's say that you were paying right now a $20 bill for your cell phone. Now your cell phone is going to cost you $50. And by the way, like I have been telling you in all of the other videos, due to hyperinflation things, the cost for the cables and the maintenance is just not going to be feasible. It won't make sense to the companies. Because the companies need to maintain the same amount of percentages of the profits. If the companies are making 50% profits out of everything, and now the profits, if they want to keep the cost, the profits must drop, to 40 or 30, then they are not doing it. I do not know why. Probably because, they have an expectation of the shareholders or whatever. But the point being that, they are not doing it. And if they are not investing into new cables, new things, and stuff like that, then basically, what do you do? And a lot of people, and I do mean like a lot of people, probably about, let's say 1/5 of the people. 1/5 of the people will just stop paying the phone bills and whatever, and they will go to whatever house they can get. Let's say your mother's house, your sister's house, your brother's house, your friend's house, and then they will ask the password, and then they will visit you. If you have internet, you will get a hell of a lot of visits that will ask you for the Wi-Fi password or whatever. And that's how people are now going to get the internet. Same way that they did with the water. You remember when I told you that, you don't have water in your house, or you go to your mom's house? Yeah, now if you don't have internet, you go once or twice a day, you go visit your friends, your family, whatever. So this will affect your speed in terms of, let's say that, you in your house have, you and your husband and your kid. So let's say that your husband is watching Netflix, and now you have 2 or 3 friends in your house who are also using the Wi-Fi and the internet. Yeah, the Netflix will not work. And if your kid is, in the middle of doing homework or whatever in the internet, he will not be able to do it either, because you have the same amount of internet, but now you're sharing it with 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 people. And a hell of a lot of people will steal your passwords. And I can tell you right now that we have a problem. Like, once every 3 or 4 or 6 months, we have to encrypt the routers again. Because, you see, encrypting a router is practically a child's play. Hell, I do not know a lot about those things, and I can do it. You don't need the original password. Let's say that, your network, your Wi-Fi thing is your name. And, you're thinking that you have that thing secured or whatever. Yeah, all they need to do is type certain numbers and figure out what kind of router it is. And then you can get online, and your neighbor can get online, put those numbers in, and just reconfigure your network and put it free again. And then you're not going to notice, because your network will keep the name. But now it's free because they just, they just said no password. So they deleted the password, and you're not going to notice. So you will notice when, things start to get very, very slow or whatever. And then you gotta have that thing encrypted again. So you gotta change the password, the username, and whatever. So there are certain routers that are more difficult to have reconfigured. There is one that has the modem and the router together, that has a serial name on it, and that is the password. Like, that is the generic password, and it is that one. And if you are going to reconfigure the whole thing, change the password, you need that freaking code, which is physically put into the device. So I do recommend that you get that one, because that one is the only one that we have been able to get. But if you get the regular router or whatever, oh hell, all you need, is the freaking keyboard. Put the number, put that, and figure out, and that's it. And it's insane, because anyone will steal your freaking internet, like your neighbors. And the worst part is that you will never know who the hell did that. You cannot know who the hell did this, because it will require, a certain level of expertise and stuff like that, and you will have to be a hacker or whatever. And quite frankly, if you're willing to try to figure out who is doing this, you are going for war. And if you're going for war, it's not worth it. Just get the other kind of device. Quite frankly, it's cheaper, faster, and better. Just get the freaking device that the password is unique and is already encrypted in the physical device. So even if they try to figure out, through the web page, like 1, 2, 3 something, whatever. No, hell no, they can't, because they will need to put out the generic password, and then the generic password is not 1, 2, 3. It is a hell of a lot of freaking numbers. And in fact, when you install that thing, the first thing that the guy said is he's kind of like an expert in this thing, and he said, oh hell no, don't change the password, because changing the password for that thing requires a hell of a lot of steps. So just use the freaking password. Nobody's ever going to use it. If you take the device and then place like a tape or something on top of the numbers, or so that nobody can have access to that number. So basically that one is the best, and that is the best thing that you can do, because otherwise you will have to hire a hacker to try to figure out what or who is a neighbor who is stealing your freaking thing. And and like I said, you're going for war, so why go to war? It's just not worth it, quite frankly. Because hell no, you already have too many problems. You already have a hell of a lot of drama. Why will you look for more? So, no. What we do is every single time, like every 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months, we have to, in fact, yesterday, my mother's internet, it has been 3 days straight, it has been very slow. So now we're certain that somebody stole the password again. So, so now I have to call my neighbor and have him help me out to do this thing in a different way or whatever, because, oh crap. I can do it. I know how the hell to do it because he has taught me several times, but I try not to mess up with those things. So, my neighbor is like, yeah, it's easy. In fact, you can Google it, like reset a modem device or a router device, and it will tell you, oh, hell, you don't even need internet. All you need to do is put 1, 2, 3 or 4 or something, and then it's a freaking number. It's 195 or 191 or something. And depending upon, the device, and then you figure out. It's kind of easy. And it's insane. And anyway, like I was telling you, what do you think will happen if, you now, your life depends upon the internet? As in, let's see, your kids, your kids study, your access to the freaking banks. By the way, if you have crypto, try to think about what the hell are you going to do if you don't have any kind of internet, or if they just simply block the server for that crypto thing. Because that is something that they can do. The government can do that one, Just block the service. My God, if they block the service, then you will be in the same position that over half of the people in my country were, in which you will have absolutely no access to that particular page. And there will be nothing that you can do about it. And if you're thinking, oh hell no, because I can sue them or whatever, like I said, yeah, you're going to sue who? How? I mean, it's a crypto thing, right? That means that they are basically, there is no way to prove that you have money there or not have money there. So if the crypto guy decides to steal everything from you because he has your password or whatever, how the hell are you going to prove it? And who the hell are you going to prove it to? Because, that is not regulated by the government. If you don't have the protection of the legal part of the government, then that can be stolen. And if it is stolen, how the hell are you going to prove it was stolen? Which is the same thing that all the people that, have these problems with this bank have. So it's a risk. Are you going to be willing to put all of your eggs into that basket? I mean, do you hate the government that much that you're just going to commit financial suicide by putting everything in there? It's like, no, hell no. And in fact, my mother had money in this account. She had 2.5 million. 2.5 million is like 50 cents. So, hell no, we're not fighting. I told my mom, oh, hell no, they can keep that freaking money. I'm not fighting for 8 months trying to get 50 cents. Hell no, they can keep it. And by the way, at this point, there will be more than half of the people will be like me. They're like, oh yeah, they stole $1, $2, or $3 or $4 or whatever, and I'm not fighting for 8 months trying to get $1 or trying to get $5. There will be people that will say, oh hell no, I don't care. I have $300 in the other accounts, and this one was only $50 or $60, and it's just not worth it. So try to imagine all the money that they just stole, and nobody is going to claim it. So, there will be a hell of a lot of other things that are, embedded into this problem. And the main one is that if they keep rising the price of the internet and you cannot afford it, then it will be your fault. And basically now they just cut out half of the people in the internet world. Because let's say that, like I said, right now you have 99 to 100% of the people that you know that can have access to the internet. However, if the whole situation changes and they cannot afford to pay the freaking service, then half of the people that you know will not have access to the internet. Now, what do you think will happen if half of the people that you know will not have access to the internet? Well, number one, half of these people are still going to need go to do grocery shopping and stuff like that. Before you did it through an app or through online service. Now you can't. Now you need to go to an actual, supermarket and physically grab the freaking thing. Except for the fact that because everyone was on the internet and now everyone is not, but building a store, supporting a store and things like that, it requires time. It's not something that you just go and say, oh yeah, the internet price yesterday was $100, so today is $200. I cannot afford it, so I'm just going to go to the supermarket. Yeah, what supermarket? The supermarkets are being empty, and they're probably going to have less and less and less merchandise because everyone is buying online. And the shift took several months, if not years. So how do you think? And this one was an empty. You were emptying the things. Do you think what is easier, empty something or filling it up? Filling it up is way harder. It's also more expensive. It's also more time consuming. And it also requires more people. And it also requires different kind of system. Because it's not you just, using the freaking internet for everything. Now this is physical work and requires a hell of a lot of these systems to make it work. And if all of a sudden, let's say that 1 million people in your entire city lost the access to the internet because it went from 100 to 200 and they cannot afford it. Now they're going to go into this thing, into the supermarket. What do you think is going to happen? The supermarket will be empty in less than 3 days, and then you will have a hell of a problem. And I do mean like a hell of a problem. Because now the inflation will be even higher. Because people will be like, it's $5 for the freaking rice. Yeah, I don't care. I will pay 20 if I could just get it. And then people will have to rush to try to get everything. And that is considering that all the other systems are good to go. As in, there is gas, gasoline, there is, diesel, there is the banks, there is, the service for the truck companies, for everyone, and everything else is working. But if one of the other things, in the step for you to get that thing to the supermarket fails, then it's game over for those 1 million people, because they will have to go online to try to get it delivered from the warehouse, because if you go to the supermarkets, you're not going to get it. So answer for that, yeah, you gotta go to your friend's house and try to get the freaking internet from your friend's house or your mom's house or whatever. But I can tell you right now that the shift, because the thing is that people are thinking that it's cheaper to always get everything online. And it is not cheaper. It's just, how to put it, it's easier. But it is not cheaper. Because you are paying for the internet. But if you cannot pay for the internet, then everyone else will be in the system and you are the one who is outside it. About 1/3 of the people that I know have this problem. And they cannot have access to the internet in any kind. And they come to my house to fix that problem. When they come to my house, they are like, you have internet? Yes. Can I have the password? Okay. Because what the hell? I have to give them the freaking password because otherwise, But, it's insane. Because at this point, if, let's say that, like I said, you have a husband and you have your kid, and the internet will get too slow if you have 2 or 3 friends in your house that have the freaking password, then, as a family, you will have to say, yeah, we don't have internet. Or, you might need to deny it to some people, especially heavy users. My God, I have neighbors that, come to my house to try to get internet here, because sometimes they don't have internet in their houses. And the internet will use completely stop because they are always downloading videos and downloading information and stuff like that, and it takes a hell of a lot of data. So when they come nearby, I have to change the password, because, and I don't know, it's a problem. If you do not know how the hell to say no, it will be a problem. And if you change the password, then you have like a, well, between me and my mom, we always say, no, that was my daughter. And then I go, oh, hell no, it was my mom. So we blame each other so that, no, so that the people don't know, so that they don't take it personally against us or whatever. But oh crap, we came up with that because, it's insane. Because how the hell do you tell them, your friends and other family members or whatever, if you're coming here for the internet, you cannot download something because my husband is watching Netflix or whatever. By the way, I don't have a husband or anything like that, but I do have other friends that do have this problem like that. So the whole situation is insane. And I hope this information is helpful somehow. And thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sharing the channel. And I hope to see you again soon.